right, let's just see if I'm live here. All right, let's just see if I'm live here. Okay. Okay, we're live. We're live once again. We're live. We're live once again. All right, Shalom. Just another live lesson from the through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yashai. All praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that do teach well and have taught me this truth, and to water to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai for giving them the eternal truth and letting them teach it to us. It's a blessing to have it. Kwam Yasha'al and Abababal, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. And the title of this lesson today is going to be called The Prey Departeth Not. And I was inspired to do this video by this clip I was watching earlier today from this movie called Menace to Society, and it's on the screen here. I don't know if I can move this. Maybe I can just show you the actual screen itself here. Yeah, so that's the name of it, Menace to Society. The Hunt is On. This is a clip from it, and this is Cain and Sharif's teacher. Those are some of the characters in the movie, but the main character is Cain, and he's a damn demon, right? Stick-up kid. He's a hustler, okay? But his teacher is telling him, you should get out of this neighborhood. You should stop roaming the streets and get out of that neighborhood. You need a new environment to live in, because the way you're going, you're not going to live too long. Through his lifestyle choices, and he's not living a good life. And he just goes on to say that the hunt is on for you, and it's not easy for a black man in America to really survive. So you got to find what works for you. And he used an example of his friend that's sitting beside him in the clip. His name's Sharif, and he actually got a name change, I believe, to a Muslim name, and he's into Islam. And the teacher is using him as an example by saying, what is working for Sharif is good. He doesn't really care about Islam, but he's saying that he agrees with what Islam talks about, or you know prescribes for the individual. But he's just saying whatever works for you to keep you out of trouble, you should pursue it. And he's just telling him to get out of that lifestyle because the hunt is on. And the hunt is on, and you Israelite men, you are the prey. And this is a good example of that in this clip, showing you. And a lot of our people, they're trying to find a way to escape, and really they're just trying to find a way to survive in North America or Babylon the Great. And they're pursuing all these different lifestyles, these different methods, these different religions, but it doesn't work for them. And I say that because when you finish watching the movie, Sharif ends up getting smoked right beside Cain. They end up getting blasted away. Even though Sharif didn't pursue that wicked lifestyle, he still ended up getting clipped just for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it doesn't matter, man. If you're not pursuing the way of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you're gonna get judged. And a lot of our people, they fail to see this. The only way out is for you to come back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. If you don't want to be a prey anymore, you got to come back to the Lord. You got to call upon his name. And now switching gears, I'm going to go to this. This is another good example of how you Israelite men, you're the prey. This is another shooting that happened to another so-called black man. And his name is Jalen Walker, Akron, Ohio man. He got shot just the other day, last week, he got shot 90 plus times, and 90 of those shots, well, 60 of those shots entered his body, and he was killed. And when he was dead, he was shot again, and then he was put in handcuffs, and he was unarmed. And this happens all the time. So this just shows you you're the prey, man. These other nations, including your own people, they're the predator. They're that devouring lion that is seeking to go about going about devouring you in this place called America. All right, so it never ceases to fail. I have a clip here. I'm gonna play it. Hope you can see it.
21 shots fired. That vehicle just had a shot come out of its door. We're southbound on Route 8. On here, going down.
So he refused to stop his car for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe he was just scared. I don't know. It could have been a multiple number of reasons. But hey, man, I'm scared for my life too. But the best thing to do is just stop and comply. But he didn't do that. And I have to say that, man, that cost his life. That cost him his life. Wow, that's disgusting, man. They just lit him up. Just lit the guy up, man. And you saw the energy they came in. Now there's some demons on him too. The way that Esau was screaming. Now they said that it was 8 police officers. It was 7 white cops and then 1 black cop, and they all shot him. So hey, man, among our people are found wicked men. Among my people are found wicked men. So your own people are gonna oppress you too. Just saying that. So that was messed up, and this shows you that Jake, you're the prey out here. And this happens all the time, man. This happens all the time. And that's why they gave you that holiday called Juneteenth. That's really just to pacify you Jakes from rioting again. So they gave you a holiday. But after June, guess what happened? Right? Another or during June, another brother got shot. Right? So hey, man, it doesn't matter. You Jakes, you're gonna keep getting shot. Doesn't matter until you come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Then this devil is gonna go down, man. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna really look more into this. That's self-explanatory. You know what happens. They're gonna march. They're gonna protest. Nothing's gonna get done. Black Lives Matter is gonna come in, make money off of your misery. The so-called white man's gonna get away, and they're gonna find some way to demonize the guy. That's what happens. That's what happens. So here we go. This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. And woe means destruction. And Babylon the Great, America, is a very bloody place. It's full of corruption, full of dead men's bones, full of men that have sold their souls. And to make this place what it is, it took a lot of bloodshed to do it, right? So it is a very bloody city. And you Native Americans, you were slaughtered over here. You Negroes, Latinos, you were slaughtered over here. You were put into slavery, into servitude. You were made a mock. You were turned into a mockery. So it's a bloody city. It's very bloody, and America is involved with what more than 200 plus wars. They've always been fighting. They're always involved in warfare. So it is a very bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. Yep, you lie, cheat, and steal. That's how you get to the top in this place. It's full of lies. And I guarantee you, they're going to find a way to come up with a lie. They're going to come up with a lie to find a way, to demonize this guy. That's what they always do to justify murdering the guy, shooting him 90 plus times. 90 plus times, man. It's ridiculous. 90 plus times. That's overkill. And they're going to find a way to make to they're going to find a way to make it seem like it was justifiable. They always do that. So it's full of lies, man. How'd they get this? How'd they get this place? Through treaties. Lie, cheat, and steal. The prey departeth not. That's right, and that's the point. The prey departeth not, and you are the prey, and you're a constant whipping dummy to these other nations and the so-called white man, pursuing to Psalms 83. Verse 2, the noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and the prancing horses and the jumping chariots. That's right. And that's what this place is full of. That's why you got cars, you got buses, you got airplanes, and you got physical horses, right? And you got chariots of men. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses. Now, the main point was in verse 1. That's what I really want to get into. The prey departeth not. That's going into something else, but um, that's what we're going to focus on. You are the prey out here. You're set up to be preyed upon, and that's because of your transgressions, right? You transgressing the law, and sin is transgression of the law, right? So breaking the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So let's go into 1 Peter chapter 5 and 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And who is your adversary? Right? The so-called white man, Satan. Satan in the flesh, right? The devil as a roaring lion. And he is like a roaring lion because he's a predator. And you're the deer, you're the antelope that's prancing around. You're defenseless. The reason why you're defenseless is because you don't have that hedge around you, which is Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, which trickles on down to the angels, right? Matter of fact, let me get a preset because if you serve the Lord or if you fear him, the angels will encompass around you. Uh, Encampeth, I mean. Campeth. So it says here, Psalms chapter 34, verse 7, the angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So if you fear Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, you're going to have a hedge around you, a hedge of angels protecting you from your adversaries, from these predators that are out here. Now, if you don't fear the Lord and you don't do what he says, then you're wide open to destruction. You're just sitting out there. So things like this can happen to you. Now, this wouldn't happen to a man that's serving the Lord. You wouldn't get a humiliating death like this. If you're truly serving the Lord the right way, you wouldn't get a bad death like this. But Jake, that's in the world, that's just out there, to them they don't really understand why they're going through this. And that's simply because they lack understanding. Right? And only a few people, only a select few of people are going to come back to the understanding and realize their situation. And their situation is very bad here in Babylon the Great. Now, I'm not mocking this guy, but he's still a Jake, an Israelite at the end of the day. But he's gonna come back in the kingdom, and he's gonna have a better life, and he's gonna serve Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, and he's gonna appreciate righteousness. And you know what? He's gonna get back those people that murdered him. All right. So, anyways, um, let's go back here. Let me read this one more time. First Peter's chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant. That's right. So be sober, be awake, be circumspect. Don't be drunk with all the philosophies that are out here. Be vigilant, right? Because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion. Hey, and that's twofold, to be sober and to be vigilant. A lot of our people are driving drunk. It's the 4th of July. You just had Canada Day. A lot of our people were partaking in that, putting hot dogs on the grill, putting hamburgers on the grill, celebrating this country for becoming a country, even though your forefathers, your ancestors were in slavery. They weren't having a good time on Canada Day. Gad wasn't having a good time during Canada Day. You Negroes, you were in slavery. You Gadites, you were being treated like shit during the 4th of July, man. So, but you have our people celebrating it, and they're not sober and they're not vigilant because this is a day where they're really celebrating your downfall, right? So, our people, they are not sober and they are not vigilant. And this truth, it teaches you to be very sober. It teaches you to be very vigilant and diligent. That's twofold, man. And you shouldn't be drinking a lot if you're in the truth. Yeah, you give strong drink to a man if he's gonna perish. Yeah, yeah, we know the scriptures on that, but there's a balance to that too. You shouldn't be drunk all the time, and you shouldn't be overeating. And yes, there's other things you catch hell. You go through a lot of stress. You get a lot of stress, but you should keep that at a minimum because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And that's all he's got to do. All he's got to do is just walk because he's the apex predator. He don't got to chase you. He just got to walk after you, man. And his walking speed is different from your running speed. When you're running, he's looking at you like you're going in slow motion because he knows what you're going to do, Jake. He knows what you're going to do. He's already 2 steps ahead of you. He can smell you. He can smell the fear. He can smell the blood. He can taste it. And they know how to trap you, these devils, man. That's why in their what's it called? In their in law enforcement, or there's a term called entrapment. They can find ways to trap you up, to put you in a snare, to take you down, man. And that's why this guy in the movie was saying, "Hey, man, the hunt is on. You're the prey, and you got to find a way to survive." That's what he was telling Cain, and that's spiritual. That guy, he was living like Cain because he lived by the sword, and he was a wicked nigga, and he was killing his own people for petty shit, right? But hey, man, the hunt is on, and you're the prey, Mr. Israelite man, Mr. So-called black man, Mr. So-called Latino man, Mr. So-called Native American man. You're the prey out here, whether you want to accept it or not. Seeking whom he may devour. That's right, and he's seeking you. He's seeking you. He's looking to take you down, man. That's why when you're around these Edomites, or especially if you're around the cops, they're looking for ways to kill you. They're looking for ways to take you down. They are. And they're the accuser of the brethren. And that's what devil means, man. A deceiver, an adversary. What is it? A traducer to make false or malicious statements about someone in order to cause humiliation or disgrace. And that's what he wants to do to you. That's just another word for devil, okay? Devil or Satan or adversary is a traducer. And that's all these people are out here. And the other nations too, man, because they don't want to see you do good. And rightfully so. So let's go to Ephesians chapter 6 and 11. Put on the whole armor of the Most High. And what is that armor? It's the truth, the wisdom, knowledge, the laws, statutes, and commandments, the ordinances of Yahweh Shem Yoshai, and first and foremost, the name. Because that's your shield, that's your armor, that's your shield and buckler, that's your sword too. Hebrews chapter 4 and 12. This truth is sharper than any two-edged sword, right? So put on the whole armor that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. That's right. You may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And that's the trickery. That's why you have entrapment. You have something called a system that's out here. And the system is nothing but a pit. And I have a precept for that. Let me get that. Let's get, where can I find that here? This is Psalms chapter 9, verse 15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. And that's talking about their system, which is the pit. And they created a system to keep you Israelites down. And that system is called white supremacy. And it's to keep you Edomites on top and to keep you Israelites at the bottom. That's why you're last hired, you're first fired. That's why you're more likely to get a criminal record. Even though you Israelites, you don't do the most crimes, these Edomites, they do the most crimes, but they don't get charged for it. They get let go, right? So you get charged for petty petty theft, right? You get like the war on drugs. You had like a little small piece of crack cocaine, and then you're doing 40 years in prison, right? For a little small piece of crack. But yet, these Edomites, they sniff coke and they bring in coke by the boatloads in their rich neighborhoods, but they don't go to jail because they make the laws and the laws are made for them. So that's just an example of the pit. Now let me go into the commentary. Sometimes I check these out. It's good to check the commentaries out once in a while. Actually, I already had it pulled up. Let me just go back here. I had it pulled up on this side, so I don't have to look for it. So this is in Psalms. I believe this is from the Matthew. I forgot the name. What is it? The Matthew what? Yeah, the Matthew Henry. This is from the Matthew Henry commentary. So this is verse 15 in Psalms chapter 9. Okay, so it says, "In this world, the Most High executes judgment upon them when the measure of their iniquities is full, and does it, so as to put shame upon them and make their fall inglorious." Yeah, and you're going to fall very inglorious because everything that you did, you're going to realize it was a snare onto you. And you really inherited a bunch of lies. Your fathers have inherited lies, and you're going to be ashamed when the Israelites are delivered out of this next captivity or out of this captivity, and that you're going to actually be put into slavery. You're going to fall miserably, and it's going to be inglorious. You're not going to have any glory because this place is going to be utterly destroyed and burnt and turned into a lake of fire. So it says, "For they sink into the pit which they themselves dig. They are taken in the net which they themselves laid for the ensnaring of the Most High's people." So that's entrapment, right? That's entrapment. That's a trap. "And they are snared in the work of their own hands. In all the struggles David had with the Philistines, they were the aggressors, and the other nations were subdued by those word in which they embroiled themselves." Now, I want to get to this point here. Uh, yeah, so that's what I really wanted to bring out. That's really a system. That's really a pit. Now, let me go into, see if I can find the word here. Uh, see if I can go click it here. Shahath, yeah, Shahath, right? And it says pit, destruction, ditch, grave, pit, destruction, grave, pitch, or pit for catching lions, pit of hell. Now it says figuratively, destruction, corruption, destruction, ditch, right? Grave, pit. And this place is very corrupt. And that's why you're caught into the system, because the system is corrupt and it ain't for you. And the laws are rigged, the lawyers are rigged, and they can find loopholes to get you out of trouble. And they just gotta say it in a good way. They gotta make it sound positive, right? It doesn't have to be necessarily true. They just gotta make it sound true, sound like it's true, to get you out of a bind, to get you a lesser sentence, or to get you off. And that's what they're gonna do for these cops. Oh, they had a license to kill. They feared for their lives, even though it's 1 against 8. They have big, strong. And it takes, you have to fit a certain pedigree to be a cop too. You have to be strong. You can't be a weak dude. And you got to be tall. You got to have muscles. You got to be able to hold a gun, right? And you got to be able to fire. You have training. So these people were trained to kill, but they're afraid for their lives. and the guy was unarmed. But they're gonna get off though. They're gonna have great lawyers. They're gonna have the city backing them, so it's gonna be all good, man. So that's that system we're a part of. It's very corrupt, and they don't give a shit about your life, man. All right, so let's move on. Verse 12. So it says, "For we wrestle." Actually, you know what? Let's check out Wiles. Let's check out Wiles. Let's check out Wiles again. Methodia or Methodia. Cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery. And, craft goes into witchcraft too. Because that's all it is, sleight of hand, deceit. And they're going to trick you Israelites into thinking that this was a bad guy. You're gonna riot, but then they're gonna demonize him, and then you're gonna get pacified. Oh, whatever. You're gonna give up, and that's that witchcraft. They're gonna keep telling you that he was a bad guy. They're gonna put it in the media. Oh, he wasn't really a good guy. He wasn't good. He wasn't that good. They're gonna keep telling you that, and then you're gonna believe it. In order for you to tell a lie, you gotta know the truth, and these people know the truth. They know a lot of you Israelites. You're not very violent. Well, if you're put in a bad environment, obviously you're gonna turn violent. But they set that up for you. Anyways, let's go on. So that's what it means, trickery. And this devil, he's the real con artist, man. He stole this place, but he made himself look like the good guy. He tricked all you people into thinking that he's a good guy by painting himself white. That's why he called himself a white man. You people are stupid, man. So it says, verse 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Yeah, and it's not about wrestling with the flesh and blood. Yeah, we do wrestle with people physically, but it's all about principalities and spirits, man, and people working magic out here. So that's what you're up against. You're really up against demons. Yeah, and these people, man, they were demonically. They were well, yeah, they were under demonic possession. These cops, man, the energy that they came in, you can see they were possessed. They didn't, and it just shows, man, you Israelites, you're not normal. How these people approach you, you're not normal because they approach you differently. They come in a different spirit. That includes the so-called black man, the Native American man, the so-called Latino man. They approach you differently. They don't treat you like these other nations. They don't take their time with you, man. And that's a spirit on them. That's a demon. And that goes back to the curses ultimately, because you're not going to have a fun and smooth time living here. And those curses are really demons, man. So these demons, they're on these cops, they're on these people out here, they're on these other nations that come and get at you. Demons, man. And that's why it says, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. And there's a big spell that's put on this earth. And guess what? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he allowed it. He allowed it. He allowed it, man. You shall find no ease, man. Let me get that precept. No ease. Deuteronomy 28. Actually, I'll start from 65. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 65, and it says, "And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee their trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind." Hey, and he had a trembling heart, man, because he was scared for whatever reason. Maybe he didn't have insurance. I don't know, but he was scared because he knew he was going to get penalized. But you know what? Him running away by having a trembling heart, it cost him his life. And that's the curses. That's the curses, man. And those are demons on them curses, because curses come with demons, man. Demons. And those demons, they hopped on those cops to shoot them up, light them up like that. And failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. That's right. Failing of eyes. Damn. Oh my God. Oh, again, I'm losing again. Sorrow of mind. You're always sad in the mind. You don't know where your next meal is coming from, your next check is coming, even if you got money too. People are trying to steal your money. You're not respected because you're so-called successful. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Yeah, am I going to make it past 30? Am I going to make it past my 20s? And that's what they said in the movie here. Because this guy, he just got out of high school. He was 18. He wasn't even 20 yet. And then next year he gets smoked. And it's on the day he was going to leave the hood. He's going to go to Kansas and live with this woman and kid. He's going to change his life. And he gets blasted away, man. So, your life hangs in doubt. You don't know if you're going to make it or not. You don't know if you're coming or going. And that's the curses of Deuteronomy 28. And the Lord was not playing with our people. And he's still not playing with you people. And you people, what I mean is you people, which is you Israelites, you still get shot down. You're still catching hell. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say with the Most High, it were even. Damn, I wish it were nighttime. I wish it were the next day. The time to go home yet. Take me back to the spirit realm. Take me back. Take me back. I don't want to be here. And at even thou shalt say with the Most High, it were morning. I gotta go to work again. Man, I gotta deal with these fucking people in my neighborhood. Oh, I got these other nations to deal with. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. So you're catching hell on a daily basis. You're catching hell. It doesn't matter. You can't escape. Jake can't escape the curses. You can't escape. And it sucks. But that's okay because after this is all over, it's going to be rose petals. It's going to be streets of gold. It's going to be the kingdom. And you're going to have a rod of iron in your hand. And you're going to have a scepter in your hand and a crown on your head. And you're going to be ruling the nations, man. All right, so let me get rid of this, close this up. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 5 and 6. Now, this chapter is going into Jerusalem's godlessness. Obviously, the nation is going off again, once again. What a coincidence. And nobody cares, right? Because that's the state of our people right now. They're in the state of godlessness, and they don't give a shit. You just had Pride Month, you just had Juneteenth, just had Canada Day. Now you got the 4th of July, America's birthday, and they're all celebrating getting drunk, right? And they don't care about the things of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So this is Jeremiah chapter 5 and 1, but the point is in verse 6. Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now, and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if ye can find a man, if there be any that executeth judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. And that's right, nobody's seeking the truth. Only a select few right now. But as a collective whole, nobody's seeking the truth. Nobody cares. And that's why we suffer, because we went off as a nation. If everybody's not on the same page when it comes to serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, if one person, just one person, keeps that Babylonian garment, the whole nation is going to be punished and everybody's going to suffer. So, on a collective whole, nobody's really seeking the truth. Only a select few, which is the elect. Only the elect. And that, if everybody were, if the whole nation right now were to turn towards the east, put their hands up, and pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in the Hebrew to the best of their ability, the Lord would come back right now. But that is not going to happen because prophecy has to be fulfilled. This has to play out. And what Israel is going through, things like this is all necessary for your perfection, because you're going to come out at the end of this as a God. So it's good. So anyways, I digress. Verse 2. And though they say, Yahweh liveth, surely they swear falsely. That's right, they do swear falsely. And they don't give a shit. They're just a bunch of talkers. And they like to hear smooth words and smooth things. And they like to talk a good game. They like to talk with their mouths and say that they love the Lord and they're going to serve them. But they do the exact opposite of what they say. Verse 3, O Yahweh, are not thine eyes upon the truth? And the answer is yes. He is about the truth. He is the truth. And that's why he gave you Yahushai, and that's why he gave you this word, which is Yahushai. That is the truth. And that is a very good question, man. And that's something that you should think about. O Yahweh, are not thine eyes upon the truth? And the answer is yes, it is. And our people, man, they don't want the truth, and that's why they get judged. That's why they get judged. That's why you get pulled over and shot up. Even though you have good credentials, even though you join the army, even though you're a police officer, they still treat you like a nigga. They still treat you like a spick. My bad. Derogatory terms. Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. That's right. you you know, you've punished them, man. Taken things away from them. You've taken their glory away. And they have not grieved. They don't care. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. And that comes with the prophets. And Jeremiah was a prophet and still is a prophet because he's coming back in his lot. And he was telling the people, and that's why he's writing this, because he experienced this. They refuse correction, man. You tell them, oh, don't eat pork, brother. That's gonna give you mud butt. Oh, that's against the law. That's not good for your DNA. That's not good for your genetics. That doesn't go well with your genetic code that the Lord put in you. Don't eat that. And then they get angry. They give you a goddamn attitude about it, man. Don't break the law. You're going off. They want to fight you and put you to death, man. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Yeah, and you see that with our people. Don't eat pork. What? They mean mug you. I can't eat pork? What? I've been eating pork all my life. Ignorant as fuck, man. Come with that hard face, give you them proud looks. What? I can't sleep with another man's wife? What? Give you them hard looks. Mean mugging you too for being righteous, for doing the right thing. People's faces are hard, man. Verse 4, therefore I said, surely these are poor. They are foolish, for they know not the way of Yahweh, nor the judgment of their power. And that's right. That's ultimately because you're a reprobate. You're a reject. You don't know the Lord. And you are poor and you are foolish. Because if you don't have this wisdom, if you don't have this knowledge, you are a poor man. You are spiritually poor. And if you're spiritually poor, you're going to ultimately become poor in the flesh with carnal things too. With money, you're going to end up losing all your money because it says riches are not commonly for niggard. And niggard is just another way of saying nigger or nigga. And that's a majority of our people out here, a bunch of niggards, man. And you're poor in the spirit. They are foolish, for they know not the way of Yahweh, nor the judgment of their power. Yeah, that's right. And you don't know the judgment of your power, because if you knew the judgment, you wouldn't have done those things, man. Hey, man, every day, you Israelites, I'm talking about all of us, including myself, we are this much closer to death every single day. But these laws, statutes, and commandments, and the grace of Yahweh Bashem Shai keeps us away from death. That's why he gave us Yahweh Shai. And when you look at this law, when you look at Yahweh Shai, which is the law and the ordinances written in this book, death is the enemy to him. So what does he do? He eradicates it. And when you bring death around Yahweh Bashem Shai, he won't tolerate it, man. He's going to destroy you. He's going to put you in your place. And a lot of our people, they don't have that understanding. And that's why you got men in the truth who are so-called in the truth. They don't really understand what they're involved in, and that's why they act immaturely. But anyway, that just takes time for you to build, and you got to be patient. But you have a lot of men in the truth, they don't understand the judgment. That's why they act the way they do. They may act ignorant, but It's just a lack of understanding, and it just takes time for you to grow. But and I experienced that myself. There were a lot of things I didn't understand. I was very ignorant while being in the truth, very ignorant on certain things, and it took chastisement, it took judgment to get me on a better path. So, hey man, we all go through that. But I'm just saying, man, we're this close to death every single day, living in this place because of how unrighteous it is. And you should be kissing the sun, lest he be angry every single day, man, every single day. Anyways, let me move on. So this is verse 5. I will get me unto the great men and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of Yahweh and the judgment of their power. But these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bonds. Here's the point. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many and their backslidings are increased. Hmm. And that's why we read earlier in 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And this seals the point, because that's what the Lord is going to put lions, wolves, leopards, hyenas, different predators over you for your wickedness. And that's the so-called white men in these other nations. And the Lord, he's comparing them to predators, and they spoil you, man, every day. They may not kill you with the sword, but they'll spoil you by taking your money, by coming into your neighborhood, setting up their stupid little stores, right? Their little wig shops, their weave shops, making money off of you, putting money into their own pockets, taking advantage of you, selling you rotten meat, selling you cheap food, spitting in your food, taking your money and putting their kids in college, enrolling them into Harvard and Yale, and then looking down on you at the same time, man, when they make money off of you. So these are the type of people, the type of predators that the Lord is going to put on you, man. And rightfully so, because you were wicked and you transgress. And what is transgression? It's really breaking the law. So this is 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And ye know that he was manifest to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. And that's talking about Yahushua. But the main point is sin is the transgression of the law. And that's your transgressions, man. Because their transgressions, sin is transgression of the law, are many. That's right. You broke many laws. You have sinned many times in the sight of the Lord, and you didn't care. And you took the truth for granted. And their backslidings are increased. That's right, are increased. So more backsliding. Oh, backsliding daughter, playing the harlot, being a two-timing slut, backsliding daughter, a harlot in the sight of the Lord, a spiritual harlot. You've increased in that. Verse 7, how shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me and sworn by them that are no powers. And how shall I pardon you for this? And the ultimate pardon is really Yahweh Shai. That's the pardon. Now, what does the word pardon mean? What does the word pardon mean? Salah, right? Salah. Okay. So to forgive, pardon, to be forgiven. That's what it means, right? So let's go into etymology. Pardon, to forgive for offense or sin. I grant you pardon. That's right, pardon, man. Pardon me to divert himself had just killed a man, but I also pardon whoever we will kill you. Okay, so that's what it means, just to forgive for offense or sin. Okay, pardon. So how do you get pardoned, man? One, the Lord had to come and die for your sins. And then now you have to go out into the highways and byways and do what the Lord says. That's how you get pardoned. And ultimately, you have to be chosen to get pardoned. That's another lesson within itself, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, Israel as a whole will be pardoned because we're going to get the kingdom, we're going to get the glory in a nutshell, all right? In a nutshell. All right. So now I want to bring this point up. This is Sirach chapter 17, verse 5. They received the use of the five operations of the Lord, and in the sixth place he imparteth them understanding, and in the seventh speech an interpreter of the cogitations thereof. So in order for you to get understanding, you have to have the sixth sense, which is your pineal gland, opened. And that's how the Lord communicates with you. And a majority of our people, their pineal gland is closed. And if it is open, they're doing things on the left hand side. They're really trying to reach demons. But really, the way that the Lord communicates with you is really through your pineal gland. And He does that through dreams, visions. He puts you in a trance, which trance could be just be another word for hypnosis. The Lord, He can put you under hypnosis. That's what the prophets went through. Now, there's a way that Esau does it. He mimics that on the left hand side because you go to these doctors, they put you under hypnosis, and that will put you in a trance, and that can alter your mind state. And also, you can see demons, man. You can open different realms and look at different entities. Now, that's wicked. But the sixth place, he imparted them understanding. So I brought this out to show you that, just to go into Jeremiah, I believe. Because it said here in verse 4, therefore I said, surely these are poor, they are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their power. That's because they don't have understanding and the Lord ain't dealing with them. Because you have gone too far in the way of wickedness. So the Lord can't deal with you. You can't touch something that's unclean. You can't touch something that's unclean. So the way you get understanding is the Lord really opening up your mind. So I just want to bring that precept out here. And in the seventh, speech, an interpreter of the cogitations thereof. That's going into linguistics, talking, language, speaking, writing, etc. Those are the operations that the Lord has given us, and there it's seven in total. Okay, so let's move on. This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? That's three questions. Is Israel a servant? The answer is no, because when you go into the name of Israel, what does it mean? Yasha Allah, he is the prince of the power. So that's a very good question. And right now, you tribes, you are servants due to the curses and due to your transgressions. You are a servant. Right now, you are because you're in captivity. If you are in captivity, that means you are a servant. If you have a driver's license, if you have a passport, if you can't go certain places, if you can't really serve the Lord the right way, even though we're rehearsing the righteous acts, in this captivity, they can't. They don't allow you to serve the Lord. So you know that the right way. You know that means you're in captivity. You're a servant. You're a slave. Is he a homeborn slave? The answer is no, you're not. Because when you go back to where you're to your origins, to the beginning, you come from Adam, you go back all the way down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They weren't homeborn slaves. They were great men in the sight of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And Abraham, he was a friend unto the Lord. And he was a rich man. He was a wealthy man. And he had servants. Rebecca had servants, right? Our foremothers, they had servants. They had men. They had private armies, right? So they weren't homeborn slaves. Why is he spoiled? And the answer is, why are you a booty? Why are you a prey? Why are you spoiled? It's because you transgressed. So this shows you that you're a prey right now. In your current state, you are spoiled because you are a prey. And a part of you being spoiled is you being robbed of your money, you being robbed of your humanity, you being gunned down. And this guy was robbed of his humanity, even though he was judged in the sight of the Lord. You know, on how it looks on the outside, he was really robbed of his humanity, man. His humanity was taken away from him. Look at that, man. Now your face is on a poster. It says APD, you murdered him. What is it? I can't see that. Justice for Jalen Walker. Yeah, justice for Jalen Walker because he was robbed of his humanity. So he was spoiled. He could have lived a long life. He should have lived onto his 80s. So he was spoiled, man. His life was taken away. This was a young man. This wasn't a fucking old guy. He had many years to live. So he was robbed. He got robbed. So the scriptures don't lie, man. Let me read that again. Let me read that again. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. And these are just milk scriptures, man. Precepts. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Why? Why? And that's a very good question. Why? 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 And that's what Jadakiss was singing about. Oh why? Oh why? That song, he made a lot of money off of that though. That was a good hit. But if you want to know the answers, you got to come to the scriptures and you got to go to the men of the Lord that are on the highways and byways. And they'll teach you. So let's shift gears, man, because you have our own people that are out here that are oppressing us. They're actually spoiling us. So this is Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves, another predator. Wolves, man. And wolves, man, they devour and they make noise, man, when they eat. Arr, arr. Them teeth, them teeth tearing into that flesh, man. And there's false prophets out here, and they're like that. They're ravening wolves. They're tearing into your flesh. And the prophets, man, they came back to put on your flesh. Ezekiel, and when you go into the book of Ezekiel, the valley of the dry bones, man, a real prophet, man, they're really set up to put your flesh back on, to give you your nationality. But you got false prophets that are out here ravening wolves. They're taking away your nationality. They're taking away your inheritance. They're taking away your heritage. They're not giving you the name of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. You got a lot of false prophets out here, man, telling you that the chip is an embargo. You got people saying that the name of the Lord ain't important. You got men saying that it's okay to go out on the highways and byways with guns. That's a false prophet, man. That's a false prophet. And then you just got men out here not teaching the truth right, breaking the scriptures down wrong. Now, it's okay if you break it down wrong, but you got to come back and correct yourself. Now, do I stutter? Do I say things wrong? Yeah, I do. I do. But, I admit to that. There's a lot of men that are prophets that claim to be prophets or men of the Lord. They don't want to admit their faults, man, especially when it comes to teaching the name of the Lord or teaching the word properly. They know they broke it down wrong, but they don't want you to correct them about it. They don't want to admit it. They just want to sweep it under the rug. They don't want to do anything about it, and they're not humble enough to ask. That's a problem, man. You got a lot of false prophets out here, man. That's not how a prophet moves. That's not how a prophet moves. Anyways, I digress. Let's move on. So this is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 26. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men. Oh, that's the majority of our people, man. You got stick up kids. You even got stick up kids in Israel, man. Spiritual stick up kids. Trying to get you to go off, man. You got spiritual stick up kids in the truth, man. trying to set snares for you so you can fall out. You got a lot of people who do that in different camps, different places, right? You got spiritual stick up kids, man. And you just got wicked men in general, man. Kick your door down, rob you, beat you up. You got wicked men in the corporate world who'll do anything for a buck, man. Who'll sell their own mother out for $1. Man, they'll sell this truth and give it away. That's what was happening during the time of the Maccabees, man. You had a lot of wicked men making covenants with Antiochus, with these damn Grecians. Making our people go off, opening up a place of exercise, making them wear hats, like mingling the Greekish fashion with the Israelite fashion. Got a lot of wicked men, man, in Israel, man, playing games, man. Stop playing fucking games, man. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men. That's right. And you're the prey, man, because they set snares. Guys like Creflo Dollar. Pass the Tide played around. I'll go home in a BMW or a Rolls Royce, and then you go home and you can't even afford to to pay your light bill, keeping you poor and making them rich. That's a snare, man. That's a trap. You got a lot of poverty pimps out here too, and a lot of you guys, man, you're gonna be put to death, man. You guys that come up against the Lord, you're gonna be put to death, man. You know, tired of you fucking guys that are wicked out here among our people, man. Tired of you fucking wicked people out here, man. If it wasn't for the Spirit of the Lord, I'll spit on you too, man. I'll spit on you, man. I'll get real carnal. But you know what? We can't, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Briefly paraphrasing. You can't get carnal in this thing. You gotta just, you gotta stay spiritual. Gotta stay spiritual. But anyway, my bark is worse than my bite. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. So let's move on. This is Acts chapter 20, verse 28. Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Holy Ghost hath made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he hath purchased with his own blood. That's right. So there's men that are set up to be over the churches, which is the flock, the congregation. You're really overseers. That's why you have different camp heads, you have elders, you have apostles. Hey, man, you're set up by Yahweh Bashim Yoshai to guide the church and to protect it. That's your job. That's your job, and you got to do your job, and you got to live up to the title. If you're not watching for the flock, you don't deserve the title of an elder. If you're not really like watching the flock, if you're not feeding them, if you're not trying to help them, you don't deserve that title. You don't deserve the title of an elder, because an elder is set up to reprove, to correct, to rebuke, and to build up the congregation. If you're not doing those things that I just mentioned, you don't deserve that fucking title, man. You shouldn't have that title. You shouldn't have that title. And if you do have that title and you're not doing those things, you don't take this seriously. And the Lord is angry. Verse 29, for I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. That's right. And you're going to have many wicked men, many wolves crept in unawares too. And I just read it in the previous precept. You got a lot of wolves wearing sheep's clothing, and they're going to look like they're appealing. They're going to dress up nice. They're going to talk good. I'm going to do a lot of videos, right? And think they're gonna devour you, and they're not gonna spare the flock. So you gotta watch the flock too. You gotta watch the men that are around you. You gotta set men up in a certain way. And if you do find a wolf, you gotta weed him out. You gotta get rid of him. You gotta kill him, spiritually kill him, spiritually kill him. You gotta get him out. Verse 30. And also, man, if your flock is complaining and they're telling you that there's a wolf among you, you gotta do something about it. Right? You got to listen to the younger brothers too. Even though they're younger in the spirit is still dealing with them if they're on point. You got to listen to them. The scripture says you got to be subject to one another. Briefly paraphrasing, we got to be subject to one another. Whatever rank you are, you got to listen to them. If they're complaining about a certain person and they're going off, right, and they're not doing the right thing, you got to listen to them and you got to deal with the problem. That's your fucking job. You got to deal with it. You got to handle that. So verse 30, also of your own selves shall men arise speaking perverse things, draw away disciples after them. And you're going to have a lot of guys in different camps. They're going to try and take guys out of your congregation, right? They're going to try and take guys out of your congregation. They're going to try and get guys to leave. And I've experienced that. I've experienced that. There's an individual that was trying to get brothers to leave with him, but it didn't work out that way. He tried to recruit me. He tried to recruit me, right? But I knew that guy was going off, so I'm like, let me just stay away from this guy. Yeah, stay away from this guy. But yeah, you're gonna have people doing that, talking all types of manner of shit against the doctrine, against the men that are over them, too. To draw away disciples after them, therefore watch and remember that by the space of 3 years I cease not to warn every one night and day with tears. Yeah, and you got to have compassion. The reason why you show tears is because you have compassion. You're actually worried. You actually give a shit. The men of the Lord actually give a shit. They're really thinking about, man, how can I help the congregation? How can I build individuals up in the faith? How can I help out? How can I warn the flock day and night? And you know what that? And it says everyone night and day with tears. You know that includes doing your videos, doing your lessons. If you're not doing your lessons, you don't give a shit about the flock. You're not seeking the Lord with tears, and you're not trying to save the people with tears. Right? If you're not doing your videos, if you ain't going out on the highways and if you just got your hands in your pockets, you're just nonchalant. You don't give a shit. I'm just saying, just saying. You gotta be compassionate, and you gotta be on fire, right? Tears. And now, brethren, I commend you to the Most High and to the word of His grace, which is able to build you up. That's right, because this truth builds you up. The word builds you up, and to give you an inheritance among all them which are sanctified. That's right, which are made holy, which are made separate. And ultimately, that's the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, because that's the ones that are gonna bring back the 2/3 ultimately, and we're going to receive an inheritance, an everlasting kingdom. So, anyways, that's all I got. So, anyways, man, just another video. Hope this was all right through the spirit. So with that, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor to unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakahakudash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that has taught us this truth. Kwam Yasha Allah and Ababa Bal Shalom.